Greetings from the Walnuts compound in the great state of Wisconsin on a snowy Sunday late morning. And I was kind of going through and doing some Sunday chores, doing some laundry, some dishes, some vacuuming, some cleaning. And I thought today would be a good day to kind of show an update on my Hobbit and Lord of the Rings collection. Show you guys some of the things that I've collected over the years. And joined by the ladies, I think I'll share a little clip of the snow that we have somewhere in this video. And other than that, get yourselves relaxed, get a beverage and a snack, and let's check out some of these items that I have from The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Well, just when we thought we were done with winter, the last few days have been in the 50s and 60s. We're supposed to get a couple of inches of snow today in the great state of Wisconsin. I was hoping I didn't have to get my snowblower out the rest of this year, but it's supposed to snow for a couple more hours, so I'll probably have to use it at least one more time. So if you've been a viewer of my channel for pretty much any amount of time, you'll know that I've mentioned several times that The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings movies are my favorite of all time. I think they're the greatest movies ever made. I first was introduced to The Hobbit as a child during the Rankin Bass Hobbit cartoon with Orson Bean as Bilbo Baggins. Fell in love with it from there. I ended up reading the 3 books, and from there I was hooked. And over the years I've picked up some items for my collection, and I'm going to go through and show you guys what I have. So it looks like it's a mess on my bed, but it's kind of a semi-organized mess. So I have my VHS titles here. I have a couple of box sets over here. I have some Steelbooks in this pile. I have a Digibook, some box sets, some DVDs, and some more Blu-rays. And then I have a couple books here. I have some lenticular trading cards. I have some CD soundtracks. And I also have some vinyl records that I'll pull out last. So I think we'll just, we'll dive into the VHS tapes. And I have several different covers of the same movie. Some of them are rare now, some not so much, but this was one cover of The Hobbit. I'm going to pause it here and turn my flash on because I don't want to see my shadow on the movie. I'll be right back. Okay, that's a little bit better. I guess that's what you get when you tune into an amateur, but I never said that I was a professional, and I don't do this for money or for views or likes or anything like that. I just do this as a hobby. I enjoy doing this. So anyways, what I was saying is this was one of the covers of The Hobbit. There have been a few over the years, and like I said, some are more rare than others. This was a release that came out in 1992 from a company called what does that say? Watex? Is it W-A-T-E-X Entertainment? I'm not sure. But I love that cover. I love this movie. I think these characters are really good. I like the music in it. I like the adventure, the different heroes that join together to go on the adventure, and just have really, really good memories about this movie. These next two are the exact same, but one has a little damage to it, and that's the one I had first. I ended up kind of, I guess, upgrading it to a better copy. But this was the Sony release of The Hobbit. think this one came out in 1987. For those of you who are good with Roman numerals, you may be able to tell me there. I believe that is 1987. I could be wrong. This is the copy that's in a little bit better shape. And this is the same, but it had some damage here on the side. See where that, let's see if I can get a better view. Some of it was torn off on the side there. Other than that, it's in really good condition. And actually, this one has a little bit better color to it. This one seems a little more faded. But I'm really glad to have these. Here's another release of the first Hobbit. This one was released in 1991. It's another beautiful cover. Put up by a company called Solar Home Video. I'm not familiar with that company. It may have been a fly-by-night company that kind of came and went, as a lot of VHS companies did. But there it is right there. It was from Santa Monica, California. This next one, I believe this was a Canadian release, and this thing is beautiful. First of all, it's very heavy, and it has an amazing cover. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's kind of like a foil, the font there for the Hobbit. It's almost like a kind of a gold foil. There's Smaug. What a great character. And this was put out by a company called Echo Video in 1992. I don't know if you can see that there. It looks like it's a little blurry, but really, really glad to have this one. Here's a copy that came out in 1991. You can see all the little characters there. The Fellowship. John Huston with the booming voice of Smaug. I'll see if I can put a clip in here somewhere of Smaug. He was a great character. This is the kind of animated movie that you can enjoy as a child or as an adult with children or as an adult by yourself. This is a really, really good movie. It's timeless. I love this movie. And here is this is the last The Hobbit before we get into the next one. We're going to do the Return of the King next. There's actually one more Hobbit DVD. No, I think this is the last VHS. The rest are DVDs. So I think this is the last VHS. This one's called Movies on Parade. Here you can see Bilbo with his big hairy feet smoking his pipe weed. This one came out in 1997. The movie itself came out in 1977. So let's get into the Return of the King. So the first one up is another Echo Video release. This is the companion piece to one that I just showed recently, which I believe was also I believe both of these were Canadian imports, if I remember. And this is beautiful too. It's really heavy. Has a great cover. I love that foil on the font there. It's really, really good. And there you can see the Echo Video Productions again. So I remember when I purchased these, I had a hard time finding this one. This one came up right away, so I actually purchased this one first. And then I think it took me a couple months and I ended up finding a good one of Return of the King, and so I have both of those. Glad to have them. The next one here is from 1992. This is called Return of the King. This release is from 92. And it was put out by the company called Wantex Entertainment, which I'll zoom in one more time. I don't know if you guys can see that. It looks like it's either Matex or Watex. I'm not sure. But this one is kind of the companion piece to this one. They're the same company. They came out at the same time, and they look really good together. So I'm glad to have these. Next one from 1991, The Return of the King, Story of the Hobbits. This was put out by a company called, I believe it's pronounced Xenon, 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 I think. I could be wrong, from 1991. And this one is a companion piece to this one, same company. So really glad to have both of those. And the last one for the Return of the King and the slip. I do have a couple of clamshells I forgot about, but I mean, they're here. I just forgot to mention them. This is Return of the King. This is a really nice cover. This was a Warner Brothers release from 1993. The movie came out in 1979, also by Rankin Bass. And then there was a Lord of the Rings that came out, I believe, in 79, also that was a Ralph Bakshi movie. I don't think these two go together, although they are both Warner Brothers. They just don't seem to have the same kind of font, I guess, but I do keep these two together. So let's get into the clamshells. There is the classic poster art for the movie The Hobbit. This thing's in pretty good condition. This is not the original that I owned, unfortunately. This was one that I picked up again after I had gotten rid of, I really wish I didn't, but I got rid of a bunch of VHS years ago. A lot of Disney and stuff like that. But I do love these clamshells. These are beautiful. I think I'm going to get a better edition than this. I mean, this one's fine enough, but it's got a little bit of damage, and I just would like to get one that's maybe even sealed still, just for a collector's item. So that is The Hobbit and Return of the King, and this one is still sealed in the cellophane. It's never been opened. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's still really, really good condition. I mean, the corners are not dented or bent. I picked these up when they were still really cheap, but over the last few years, I've noticed a lot of these are going way up in price, especially horror VHS. Those were always pretty pricey, even a few years ago, but they're getting really, really pricey. So I guess now is the time to kind of strike if you're looking for any of these before it goes up too much. Here is the Lord of the Rings, which was the Ralph Bakshi production. Beautiful poster. I have this original poster. I almost forgot I had it till just now seeing this. I'll show that probably right after I show these, or I'll forget. This one's in really good condition. It's open, but everything looks pretty good on it to me. Of these three movies, which was your favorite? Did you prefer the Rankin Bass over the Bakshi animation? And here is the Lord of the Rings in a cardboard slip with that same iconic poster art there. Beautiful image. Looks like it's put up by a company called Republic Pictures and Lumiere. I'm not familiar with that one right there. Lumiere Pictures. I'm familiar with Republic Pictures. They've been around for a long, long time. You can see some of the ring wraiths there on the right. Those are my favorite. Those things are terrifying. And that's what I like about the Lord of the Rings franchise. It's a family movie, but I mean, there are some really frightening scenes, really good stuff. It's a masterpiece. So that is Lord of the Rings. Those are my VHS tapes. I do have another stack here, but these are kind of documentaries, and I have one from the Lord of the Rings live action. But right now I'm going to put this stuff away, and I'm going to pull out that poster really quick, and then we'll keep moving. I think I have more of the VHS tapes from the live action, but I just couldn't find them really quick, and I have a big closet that's full of VHS tapes that I have to go through, and I'm pretty sure I have all of these. But this was one of the newer items I picked up, and this one's still sealed. I got this really cheap. If you listen, I think there's a little piece of plastic floating around in there. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't know if you can hear that, but I didn't hear it just now, but I heard it earlier. But anyway, this was the Return of the King. I didn't pay very much for this. Just wanted to get it since it's sealed. I'm going to get better stuff eventually. I'm always going to keep adding to this collection. This is one of my favorite things to watch and to collect. Watched all of these movies in the movie theater, and it was probably the greatest experience I've ever had watching movies in the theater. And I've seen some really, really great classics in the theater, Star Wars and all those movies, Indiana Jones, E.T., you name it. But these were something different. These were special. Hard to really explain. So the next three, including this one, are kind of documentaries or specials that were broadcast on TV about the phenomena of the Lord of the Rings. And this one was done by National Geographic. It was from one of their series called Beyond the Movie, and they did a piece on the Lord of the Rings, A Fellowship of the Ring. And I think that's really nice. And these were very inexpensive to grab these. This thing was almost new. Whoever had it, I doubt even watched it, maybe once, but I have it now, and I'm not going to watch it because I have it on DVD, and I'll show you that in a little bit. But this is just a nice little collector's piece here. Really glad to have this. Here's another one called The Origin of the Rings, an unauthorized tribute. So I guess you could say it's fan-made. I don't know, but they went all out, though. I mean, it wasn't cheap to put your product on a VHS tape and produce it, so they must have had a lot of heart into this product. Put out by a company called Trinity. Let me see if we can zoom in and check that out. Trinity Home Entertainment. I mean, it's one thing to make a fan-made, tribute in a documentary form, but it's another to go all out and have it recorded on tape and then make the sleeve. I mean, they must have put some money into this. I doubt that they were trying to cash in. I think it was just kind of a labor of love. I don't think they became rich over this, but contains material never seen before. Really glad to have this. And the third and final documentary tape is The Master of the Rings, the unauthorized story behind J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. This was put up by Trimark Home Video. This This was released by Lionsgate. It's 1 hour, so even though it was unauthorized, they found a major label to release it. And let's read this little box here. It tells a little bit more. It says, "This is an independently made production from Video Release Productions. This program is not affiliated with, sponsored, or endorsed by the estate of J.R.R. Tolkien or its licenses." So that was my VHS stack. Let's keep moving. I think next we'll go through the Digibook here on Blu-ray, because I also want to show you these cards that kind of came with this. This is a really beautiful edition. I bought these at Walmart years ago when they first came out. This is from the first movie. It's a really thick Digibook. We're going to go through it. Such great characters. Hard to believe that it's 13 years old already. So there's the Blu-ray, and in the background there's a map of Middle-earth. You could actually go to Etsy and you can purchase some really nice fan-made framed maps of Middle-earth, Mordor, and stuff like that. There's some really good stuff. I mean, they're all the way from like a few bucks just to get like a rolled paper one, all the way up to like $100 and some bucks if you get a really detailed one made out of wood and framed. Some of those are gorgeous. I wouldn't mind getting one someday, but I'm kind of running out of room for posters and stuff like that. I have way too many posters. But this Digibook is really nice. It's got thick glossy pages, talks about the characters in the movie. I wonder if some of you out there love this as much as I do. Really, really nice. It's got some recipes for Hobbit food. And back here we have special features on Blu-ray, and it looks like that's the movie on DVD. So you get a 3-disc set. You get the movie on Blu-ray, the movie on DVD, and special features on Blu-ray. So next I will pause it and we'll go through these little lenticular trading cards and we'll keep moving. I don't really remember a lot about these cards, only that these were given out at Walmart when you purchased this movie on Digibook. And I think they were only giving one card away, but the young lady that was working there told me she'd give me a stack of them. And I'm not sure how many characters were in the set, if there even was a set. But I have 3 different ones. I have, of course, Bilbo. And the lenticular doesn't do anything as far as like changing the action or anything. It just kind of has like a 3D depth. It says for promotional use only, not intended for resale. And then I got Gandalf. This was Gandalf the Grey. And Thorin, who was one of the greatest characters in the movie. They were all great. So those are the 3 unique ones that I have, and then I had a couple doubles of Gandalf. I don't know how I came up with all those. I think the gal just gave me like a handful of them or something. So that is my Digibook and lenticular cards. Okay, so we'll get into this pile here, some DVDs, and back to the animation. This is the original, The Hobbit, the original animated classic. This one's remastered. It's a deluxe edition. This one sorely needs a Blu-ray or 4K or even a box set with Return of the King. Initially, I had the snapper case for both The Hobbit and The Return of the King, and I had those for many years. But when the remastered deluxe editions came out, I got rid of the snapper cases. I don't like them. They don't sit on the shelves right. They're a little bit taller than a regular DVD. They're just kind of an eyesore, so I ditched those. I think I donated them to probably Goodwill or Value Village. I don't remember. But these are much better. I would like to have a nice Blu-ray, maybe a Steelbook or a 4K with a slipcover, something. Maybe if they can find some bonus features they can add to it, I think that would be great. This is one of those movies that desperately needs a upgrade. And I have The Return of the King. So these are kind of a little twin pack. Watch these back to back. These are both the Rankin Bass movies. Again, this one's remastered deluxe edition, original classic. Special features. Vintage featurette. I'm sure they can find something new to add to these over the years. It doesn't have to be a lot, and actually I would even just be happy with an upgrade. It doesn't have to have a bunch of bonus features. But maybe you can put a little poster, or you can put some art cards or a nice slipcover, something like that to make it a little more collectible. Here's that Lord of the Rings poster I mentioned, and I almost did forget to show it. So really, really glad to have this. I think this thing is absolutely gorgeous. This is a really cool poster. It's 27 by 40. This is a reproduction. I've looked at originals and they're very pricey. I'm just happy with this. I'll never upgrade this unless I get it for a steal, but I'm more than happy with this one. A couple more DVDs here. The next two, this one and the next one, are both documentaries. This was the DVD version of Master of the Rings, the definitive guide to the world of the rings, they're calling it. You can tell it's old. It says it's PS2 compatible. Running time 80 minutes. I don't see a year that this came out though. It says Eagle Media is a label of Eagle Vision, which is a division of Eagle Rock Entertainment. I'm glad they clarified that. Next is the DVD edition of The Origin of the Rings. This was the one that was called the Unauthorized Tribute that we showed on VHS earlier, so I'm just going to kind of quickly show you this. Circles and Rings, Dragons and Kings, and Unauthorized Tribute. Looks like this one came out in 2001. And these are two DVDs. They come in slim packs. These are extremely rare, extremely limited. We'll start with The Hobbit. You can see that it's a slim pack. I'm not crazy about that, but that's the only way these come. It was put out by a company called EastWestDVD.com, and what I think happened, if I remember right, I'm pretty sure I did some research on it, but like I said, I can't remember everything all the time. But this East West DVD company was releasing movies that they didn't have the right to, and they ended up getting in trouble. So I think they had to pull their movies, and I think they're actually out of business now. I think they probably got sued or something, I'm not sure. But so therefore these are no longer being printed, and the ones that were printed, I think they had to get destroyed that were still in their, like, their facility or their warehouse or whatever. And the ones that got out into the public, such as these, are harder to find now. I've seen them on eBay. Every once in a while this will pop up, and they're usually asking $100+ for these. So this is something I'll never watch. It's just a collectible piece because I have way better ways to watch this, but it's a cool collectible and a good story. I don't know about a nice story. I don't like to hear that there was a company stealing, and I don't like to hear a company went out of business. It's a shame both ways, but, and here's Return of the King. Again, by eastwestdvd.com. That website is no longer in existence. You can see that these were made in Taiwan. So I guess you're not really surprised that they were bootlegging, but really glad to have these in the collection. I think next we'll go through this stack of Steelbooks, and then I think I'm going to pause it and go take a nap, and then I'll finish the rest of this up later today. But I just feel drained. Lately I feel really tired. Here's the newest addition to my Lord of the Rings / Hobbit collection, and this was the Japanese anime movie called The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim. I still haven't finished this yet, but what I did see I really enjoyed. And this is a beautiful steelbook. I talked about this recently on an update video, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Just kind of give it a once over, and we'll move on to the next one. Okay, like I said, we'll get through these steelbooks, and then I'm going to go put my head on a pillow for a little bit. I'm really dragging right now. So I have the 3 movies of the Lord of the Rings on steelbook and the 3 movies from the Hobbit on steelbook, and I really like these. These are great. I'm not going to open them. I have them in a plastic bag. I just want to kind of show you. I'm sure most of you have these anyway, so I love the layout of these. I like how they have the Black Riders or the Ring Wraiths down below, and then have our heroes up top. It's a really good design. Such a great cast, great characters, a really good story. Movies like this don't come around very often. This may be a once-in-a-lifetime movie for me. Hopefully there's going to be another one better than that or just as good, but it's hard to top this. The next one's called The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. Again, we have our heroes here. Smeagol as Gollum. Kind of a tragic figure in the story. He was just a poor guy who went mad because of the ring. And you almost, by the time the movies are closing, you almost start to feel sorry for him. And we have the Return of the King. Great conclusion to a great series. And I mentioned earlier that I saw these in the movie theater, and I remember the gal I was dating at this time. We went together, and the movie was long, and we kept thinking it was going to end, and it was kind of coming to an end, and I had to pee really bad because I had a soda and some popcorn. I didn't want to get up and pee. I know this is TMI, but I felt like I was going to miss something, and I didn't want to miss anything on the big screen. So in my mind, it seemed like the movie had ended 3 different times. I was like, okay, whew, this is going to be the ending, so I'm going to be able to go pee. But then it would keep going and keep going and keep going. I'm surprised I didn't have a ruptured bladder, but I ended up making it, and I was glad that I waited because this was a great movie. These look really good on Blu-ray, by the way, too. I know most of you have seen these already, but if you haven't seen these movies, what the hell, man? I mean, you have to give these a shot. And now we're on to the Hobbit trilogy. This was the extended edition, Blu-ray, Steelbook, An Unexpected Journey. And I love the Hobbit series just as much as the Lord of the Rings. If I had to pick one over the other, I would give Lord of the Rings like a half point better than the Hobbit. But I mean, these are both 10s to me. I gave them both 10 out of 10, and that's pretty rare. I'm pretty stingy with my grading, in my opinion anyway. And the next one is the extended edition of The Desolation of Smaug. That's cool. And the last, this one was a Best Buy exclusive. I try to keep the hype stickers as often as I can. This one's in a bag, so it takes a little bit of just being gentle and slow and peeling these off the original cellophane and then kind of reapplying them to the bag. It doesn't always work, but I'd say 90% of the time it works. But this is the Battle of the Five Armies, a great conclusion to a great trilogy. So I'm going to put these away, and I'm going to go take a nap. And within the snap of a finger, you guys will be right back with me, but I'm going to take like a 2-hour nap, I think. Next, we will get into these DVDs. These are kind of like a deluxe edition of the DVDs. These were Walmart exclusives that came with this slip box. And it says at the top, special offer with the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring DVD. You can get movie money toward the Golden Compass, which came out in December 7th of 2007. This is what the collector's edition looks like. It has sort of a window box. It is a 2-disc set. And I may have to pause this to open it. I remember it being pretty tight. So let me do that so I don't scratch it or anything. So there you got some beautiful interior artwork. And it's a 2-disc set. One of the discs is a flipper disc, and this is the DVD with special features. Let's take this off. We don't really need this on here. So each collectible 2-disc set features disc 1 for the first time, the theatrical and extended version of the film. That's why it's a flipper. And disc 2, you get behind the scenes documentary. So this is a really beautiful set. And this was a Walmart exclusive. Next we have the Twin Towers. And it says here, disc 1, you get the theatrical and extended version, and disc 2, you get documentary, same as the first one. And this one comes in a really nice kind of a red and black color. You get the flipper disc, you get the DVD, and the third and final is The Return of the King. Check this one out. That's a beautiful photo of the Eye of Sauron. So that was my little trilogy of the Walmart exclusive deluxe box sets. I have all of these on DVD. I just didn't pull them out. It would have taken me a long time to find them. These are 2 that I picked up at thrift shops over the past couple years. I don't know why I keep picking these up. I think if I see them for $1, I feel like I have to rescue them. But these are the same edition, the same movie of the Two Towers on DVD. Nothing really special about these, but I do have the whole trilogy on DVD somewhere. We'll go through some of the Blu-rays now. This is a Chinese bootleg copy of the Rings of Power. I still haven't watched this yet. As far as I know, these do not have an official Blu-ray release, or they didn't at the time I bought this. So you can see that they really went all out with this. I believe I ordered this from a Chinese seller, and it may have been on an American eBay seller page, but that's not uncommon. That happens quite a bit. There's American sellers that sell a lot of Chinese bootleg stuff. So let me take this off. If you notice, if you look at the slipcover, it has a weird pattern on there. I don't know if it's picking up, but it's almost like a diamond. It almost looks like a file with the little diamond patterns on there. So that's kind of a hint right there that this is a bootleg. This also had like a little window that opened up. You can see that there's a lot of writing in Chinese, Cantonese. Haven't seen this yet. I've heard things, but I don't like to judge until I see. So this is the 2-disc Blu-ray. This is what the discs look like. So that is season 1 of the Rings of Power. Next is Ralph Bakshi's animated movie on Blu-ray, the remastered deluxe edition. And this thing looks really good on Blu-ray. It's a 2-disc set. Disc 1 is a DVD, disc 2 is your Blu-ray. That's the hero. And not a whole lot to say that we haven't said already, but these are great cartoons. You can see some of these special features. The next two are kind of, I guess, deluxe editions on Blu-ray. They came with this beautiful slipcover with the lenticular cover. I'm missing the Battle of the Five Armies. I've been meaning to get it. I just haven't yet, but I will. So it will kind of fit in with these other two. But this one here for the An Unexpected Journey 3D, you get a 3D Blu-ray, a regular Blu-ray, a DVD, and an ultraviolet code. And then there's Gandalf on the cover. It's a really heavy, thick set. It's got a bunch of discs in it, so. And this one also was the same. It had a 3D Blu-ray, a regular Blu-ray, a DVD, and a digital code. There's Thorin, Oaken Shield. I think these are really cool additions. I have some of the soundtracks on CD. I think I'm missing one for the Hobbit, but this is the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, and these are really cool. Comes with the little booklet here on the left. Here's what the disc looks like. It's a map of Middle-earth, nice little touch. And there's the track listings if you want to pause that and check them out. The Two Towers. There's the track listing. Another booklet. And the Return of the King. And I have two from the Hobbit trilogy. I have An Unexpected Journey. It's a 2-disc set. Also comes with the booklet. And the last one I have for CDs, I'm missing the Battle of the Five Armies again, but this one is The Desolation of Smaug. Great scene. It's another 2-disc set. Oops. Oh, there it is. It's on the back. Right there, 2 discs. Okay. Actually, let me pause it and fix that, and we'll show a quick recap. I have the 9-disc Blu-ray box set of the extended editions. Not going to pull everything out of this one, just kind of wanted to add it to this video. You can see that each of the movies came with their own case. This is the way to watch it, if you ask me. Get the extended editions and just take a whole weekend and watch these movies. I've done that before. Really glad to have, this is how I watch it when I watch the movies. And I have the Lord of the Rings, the extended edition. Comes in this really beautiful gold hard-shell box. Has a map of Middle Earth. All of the discs are housed on the inside. They each come on their own, in their own case. I'll take one out just to kind of show you what they look like. So this is a 10-disc set. You get 7 Blu-rays and 3 DVDs. You can see the swing trays, all this goodness here with bonus materials and adventures that are waiting for you. Comes with a little booklet. Really nice box set. I have the extended edition DVD box sets, and I'll open one. I'll open this one, and the other two I won't, but this is the Fellowship of the Ring special extended DVD edition, put up by New Line Series, New Line Platinum. These are made to look like books, so when you have them on the shelf, it looks like the spine of like a leather-bound book. I think that's a really nice touch. And on the inside, you have this Digipack style packaging to house all the DVDs. There's also a booklet. Really love these. This reminds me of when DVDs used to put a lot of effort into their box sets. And they were really beautiful. It was hard to get rid of them when you upgraded to Blu-ray. So that's why I never really did. I always kept everything that I have. Next is the Two Towers. Don't have to really open these. You already kind of get an idea of what's inside there. And then we have Return of the King. So there are the 3 movies in the trilogy. Really glad to have these. The next one here is a hardcover book that was published in 1976. And I don't know if this one was issued with a dust jacket at one time, but when I bought it, it didn't have one. And this is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is pretty much just a reader because I don't believe there's any animation in here. I think it's just a straight read. I guess there was a couple of photos, not very many. A few. But it's a nice book. It's in really good condition. It was very well taken care of. And I like I think it's kind of a fake leather. It's kind of a, what do they call that, leatherette or whatever, but I like the way it looks. There's a gold, I guess they call that gilding. You can see there's some designs around the border here. It's really nice. The next one here is from the same exact company that I just showed you. It's called Houghton Mifflin. And this is more of a story with pictures added to it. This one's in a little rough shape. I bought this used, very, very affordable. Let's say that. It was just probably like 10 bucks if I remember. It was not very expensive. This was published in 1997. You can see that the dust jacket has a little bit of issues, but that's fine with me. I don't really, it doesn't bother me, put it that way. It was illustrated by Alan Lee, who has done a lot of illustrations over the years for Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. And chances are, if you have a book right now and it has artwork in it from The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, it was done by Alan Lee. He's done a lot over the years. When this first came out, it was 35 bucks, but you can probably find this on eBay or something much cheaper. There are way better editions out now that are very expensive, but it all depends, you know, what kind of budget you have or how much money you want to put into your collection. It's completely up to you. But as far as like books go, I don't really try to break the bank when I buy them, unless it's like a signed edition or a first edition, something like that. But I'm not really I don't consider myself a book collector. I'm more into movies. But if I can find something really nice like this for a cheap price, I'll grab it. There's a couple other books, though, that I want to get from the Hobbit franchise. And when I do, I will show those in an upcoming update video. But for now, this is what I have, and I have one more book to show you. Actually, I have one book and then a box set that I had for many, many years. I've had it for, I think, over 25 years, but this one's fairly new to me. This is called the Silmarillion. These are stories that take place after The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. And this was kind of a rare cover, I think. From what I hear, again, I'm not really a book specialist. I'm not even a movie specialist. I'm just a dude with a hobby. But I don't know a whole lot about books. But somebody told me that this was pretty rare. And actually, I was watching another YouTuber's channel, and that's how I heard the info. So it wasn't really like told directly to me, but I picked it up in somebody's video that this was supposed to be. This was art that was done before the story was out, before the artist even had a chance to read the book or hear about the story. he started writing all this, or drawing all this stuff that didn't really have anything to do with the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit. And I guess the story goes that J.R.R. Tolkien was a little bit upset, but they went with it anyway, because there were no like swan boats or these weird mushrooms. But in this artist's mind, that's what he thought Mordor or Middle Earth would look like, I guess. And Tolkien almost dropped the artist and picked somebody else up, but he ended up going with it. But and it wasn't, I guess it's kind of rare because of that, but it's not very expensive. I think I paid like $15 for this. So at Books A Million, I think I ordered this online. So this was my little, well, I actually had one more box set to show, but my little Hobbit books. So this is a box set of the Lord of the Rings books. They came out in 1993, and that's the same year I bought it. I bought it at a store called Walden Books. I don't know if you guys even remember that, but there used to be stores throughout the U.S. in malls that had a Walden Books. And there was also another bookstore called Little Professor. I don't know if you guys remember any of that. But this was a pretty hefty price. I think it was close to $100, like $85 or something. Come on. 84 bucks. Comes in this nice hard outer shell. Now the dust jackets on these currently are fan made. I purchased these from a company called Nerdy Ink a year or two ago, and they designed their own slipcovers for books. And I'll show you what the original slips look like, but I think these are really cool, so I picked them up. And this is the original, the Lord of the Rings. I'm sorry, this is the Return of the King. These are a little bit out of order, but it doesn't matter. We're not reading them, we're just looking at them. I thought these covers were beautiful. And again, I heard about these from another fellow YouTuber when I was watching one of her videos about her Hobbit collection. She mentioned these, and I went over to the website and I grabbed them. I thought they were really cool. And we have the Two Towers. My battery's dying, so I'm going to have to hurry here. I'm going to go charge it really quick, and I just have some vinyl records to show, and then we'll wrap this up. But these covers are gorgeous, aren't they? I mean, they're kind of cartoonish, but they're still cool at the same time. And here's the first one, the Fellowship of the Ring. Balrog. All right, so let's get a recap here. And I'm going to go charge my phone for a few minutes, and we'll wrap it up with the vinyl records. So this is what the original dust jacket looked like from this box set before I switched it to the Nerdy Ink dust jackets. Okay, so before we get into the vinyl records, I did pull out a couple boxes of some figures that I have. I wanted to make a quick correction because earlier in this video I said that Smaug was voiced by John Huston, which is incorrect. John Huston voiced Gandalf, and Richard Boone voiced Smaug. So I just want to make that correction. So getting into the vinyl records here, I have The Hobbit. It was put out by Disneyland Records back in the 70s. It's a really cool cover. See the Goblin King. It is a gatefold, and there's a few pages, kind of like a booklet inside of here. I try not to handle it too much because it's very fragile and it's still intact, but I would hate for this to kind of separate. But there's really nice artwork in here. I think we'll just kind of leave it like that, just because it's very old and it's fragile. I don't want to wreck it. So, but there is the back. The next one is The Return of the King. These are original pressings. I'm not sure if these were ever reissued. But these are in really good condition. Comes with a 12-page read-along colored book. I mean, this thing is in really, really good condition. I don't want to jinx it and ruin it, but it's in really, really good condition. There you can see Gollum. Next one is the original motion picture soundtrack for the Lord of the Rings, the animated Lord of the Rings, composed and conducted by Leonard Rosenman. It's another gatefold. You see some beautiful artwork there. You can see the tracks. It is a 2-record set. See some of the characters from the movie. This came out in 1978. This is also an original press. Again, it's in really good condition. And I keep them in these plastic bags to keep them protected. And the last record is the Lord of the Rings picture disc. So there's beautiful artwork on the front of the record there. This thing's in really, really good condition too. It's a 2-disc set, 2-record set. I'll take it out so you can kind of get a better viewing of the artwork that's on here. So I have it in one of these plastic protective sleeves. And you can see how they put the beautiful artwork right on the record. And it's on the other side as well. Really gorgeous. I love that. That would be a great thumbnail right there. So those were the vinyl soundtracks that I have. I guess we will show the figures and we will wrap this up. So I have a couple box sets of figures. I wish I had more. There's characters I'm missing like Gandalf and stuff like that. Thorin, but actually Thorin's in this set here. But you have, let me see if I can, hold on. I'm gonna see if I can show this better without the flash. So this might work a little bit better without the flash, maybe not. So you get Bilbo, Thorin, Keely, Feely, and Dwalin. So there you have our heroes. They're calling this a deluxe collector's set. I think I bought these at a Barnes & Noble. It was either that or a Toys R Us years ago. These are pretty cool characters, pretty detailed, and it's just fun to collect these if you love the franchise. And I also picked up this is the Goblin King with Thorin Oaken shield, and there's the big Goblin King. I thought that looked really good. Now that I do think about it, I believe these were picked up at Toys R Us years ago. Back when these movies were out at the theater still. There you can see how you can pose the Goblin King if you decide to put his crown on and his scepter or staff, whatever you want to call that. So that is going to do it. I also do have a really big collector's box set that I picked up years ago. It comes in that big wooden drawer or the wooden box set. I'm not going to show that in this video. I already did an unboxing of it years ago. If you're interested, I'll link that video down below if you want to go check out the big box set. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hope you have a good week ahead of you. Thank you for watching my videos and hanging out with me. Take care, and I will see you next time.